Welcome to the global culture. Today you will learn about 10 cheapest countries to visit. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell button to receive all new. The splendor of expensive destinations has its appeal, but let's face it, the more expensive a place is, the more you have to adjust the length of your trip and your activities there to stretch your dollar. There's something to be said for traveling to cheap countries, where an entire meal at a local restaurant costs the same as a movie ticket back home, or where you can sleep at a nice hotel for what would only get you a hostel bed in other places. Check out our list of some of the cheaper countries in different destinations around the world and why you should consider going there. 10. Vietnam. As one of the best countries in the world for street food, Vietnam should have a place on every foodie's travel bucket list. The markets in Vietnam are outstanding. You can indulge in a wide variety of local dishes and barely spend more than a couple of USD. Vietnam is also famous for its unique natural attractions, including the limestone islands of Ha Long Bay and the world's largest cave, Hang Son Doon. Accommodation and transportation are both very affordable here as well, contributing to why Vietnam is one of the cheapest Asian countries to visit. 9. Cambodia. Cambodia is best known for being home to Angkor Wat, the largest religious monument in the world. Even this world-renowned destination is incredibly affordable to visit. You can just hop on a tuk-tuk, open motorcycle taxi, to reach your destination, buy a temple ticket at the entrance of the first temple, and explore until your heart's content for just pennies. When you're ready to move on, your tuk-tuk driver will take you to the next temple and wait for you. Hiring a tuk-tuk for the entire day will cost you the equivalent of a 15-minute taxi ride in NYC. But Cambodia has much more to offer than stunning ancient temples. The capital, Phnom Penh, is filled with beautiful French colonial architecture, cheap French bakeries, perfect to pick up breakfast or snacks on the go, and lots of temples that are free to visit. For the price of a Starbucks coffee, you can have a meal at a nice restaurant in Cambodia, and a modern, comfortable room at a nice hotel will likely be cheaper than a shared hostel room in Europe. Don't try to save money by drinking tap water, though. This is a no-no in Cambodia. For even bigger savings, arrive outside of the cool dry season, which runs from November to February. This is high tourist season and the months when prices go up and the crowds get bigger. At any other time, you'll find incredible deals everywhere you look. 8. Bolivia. Bolivia is often passed on for more famous neighbors Peru and Brazil, but this country at the heart of the Andean mountain range has an impressive collection of sights to discover. Bolivia is a multi-ethnic country with 36 official indigenous languages and an ecosystem that varies from the desert Llanos, plains, to the polar mountains in the western Andes. Many of Bolivia's most famous sites are free to visit, including Lake Titicaca on the border of Bolivia and Peru, the largest lake in South America, a number of pre-Columbian archaeological sites, Salt Lake Laguna Verde at the foot of a volcano, and Salar de Uyuni, the world's largest salt flat. Trekking in the Val de la Luna is an experience to remember, and the protected area charges no entry fee. Walking through the tall stone spires and the colorful mountainsides in shades of reds, browns, and even dark violets beats almost any desert hike in the world. Food, transportation, and accommodation in Bolivia cost a fraction of the prices you'll find in other South American countries, and prices are even cheaper during the months of April and May, before the high season starts. 7. Indonesia. Indonesia is a country in Southeast Asia composed of thousands of islands. This means it is incredibly diverse. You can visit the most popular island of Bali, or head to the quieter tourist islands such as Lombok, Java, or Sumbawa. Regardless, Indonesia is a very cheap country to travel to. It is wise to just pick a handful of islands and fully explore those, rather than hopping from island to island constantly and spending lots of money on transport. But once you find a nice place and stick to it, you can eat delicious, flavorful local food and stay in fun hostels or guest houses for 20 to 30 USD per day in total. 6. Bulgaria. For cheap prices in Europe, very few places beat Bulgaria, an unassuming eastern country that remains very much off the beaten track. In summer, tourists from neighboring countries arrive in Bulgaria to enjoy the Black Sea for incredibly low prices. But the rest of the year, the country is quiet. That means no big crowds, no noise, and no crazy high prices for accommodation, food, and entry to attractions. In fact, Bulgaria's most interesting destinations won't cost you a penny. Sofia, the country's capital, is an old city where you can see the Turk and Byzantine influence, but the real charm of the country can't be truly discovered until you step into the countryside. Here, ancient little villages sit next to imposing castles atop mountains. In Bulgaria, you can get an all-day ski lift ticket for a tenth of what you would pay anywhere else in Europe, and the hiking trails will take you up mountains as high as the Alps for free. To make the trip even cheaper, skip the summer months, when the beaches are crowded and hotels raise their prices to take advantage of the short tourist season. Late spring and early fall are great times to visit instead, especially if you're spending time outdoors. The weather is nice, the tourists are gone, or haven't arrived yet, and prices are more than affordable. If you're a winter person, consider Bansko or Razlog, two great ski resort areas, where you can enjoy the snow on a very small budget. 5. Dominican Republic. The Caribbean is one of those destinations where using travel packages and all-inclusive stays can sometimes turn out to be cheaper than budgeting on your own, and this is also true for the Dominican Republic. If you're heading to Punta Cana, Puerto Plata, or other major beach destinations, restaurants and accommodations are going to be your major expenses, as prices are hiked up considerably during high season, which runs from mid-December to mid-April. For sun worshippers who don't mind temperatures in the 30s, it might pay off to visit in summer, which is considered low season and considerably cheaper. Many of the things to see and do in the Dominican Republic are free. This includes walking around to see the colonial architecture and visiting quirky museums like the Free Museum of Chocolate in Santo Domingo. Punta Cana's Playa Blanca, White Beach, is a great place to visit for snorkeling. Just bring your own mask to keep it free. 4. Nepal. Unless you're planning a full guided trek up Mount Everest, which is definitely not a cheap venture, Nepal is incredibly cheap. Even better, you can still enjoy plenty of trekking and even climbing for pennies. Even massive trekking trips, such as an 11-day hike in Langtang Valley, will only set you back a few $100s, a quarter of what a trek to Everest Base Camp would cost. Nepal is hard to visit in the low season, as the months between mid-June and mid-September mean lots of rains, potential flooding, and sometimes dangerous landslides that block trails and make hiking impossible. In addition, the weather is misty and cloudy during these months, which means you often get poor visibility and no mountain views. If you're not heading here for climbing, winter, which lasts from mid-December to mid-February, can be a pleasant time to visit, as temperatures often stay around 10 degrees Celsius in the city. Trekking can be tricky in winter because of unexpected winter storms and snow. March to May and September to November are the best months to visit. You'll get some of the best weather and prices that are still stunningly low. Local affordable guided treks do exist, but double-check that they offer safe trips. You'll get cheaper prices if you sign up for a trek once you arrive rather than booking in advance. If you're not heading anywhere too technical, you can always explore on your own and save even more money. 3. Morocco. Morocco is one of those countries that can cost you a lot of money or be incredibly cheap, depending on the choices you make. For example, visiting Morocco's famous Marrakech's Bazaar can get pricey, especially if you're after hand-woven rugs or painted glass. But if you learn to haggle like your life depends on it, you'll walk away with some budget treasures. Intercity first-class train rides in Morocco will cost you about the same as you would pay for a metro ride in the West. Even better, you don't need to pay for a guide at any of the major attractions, such as the Royal Sardians tombs or the 12th century Menara Gardens, as they're either easy to discover on your own, or an English-speaking guide is included in the price of the ticket. For cheap eating, nothing beats the local specialties, such as kaablghzal, a crescent-shaped cookie stuffed with almond paste. Great is a quick snack, the slow-cooked Moroccan stew tagine, or couscous served in many different forms. Sitting down at a restaurant in Morocco often means a higher price, but eating street food or ordering something from a local tea or coffee house will give you a taste of the real Morocco and save you money at the same time. If you avoid peak season, November to March, you'll also find lower-priced accommodations. And you can spend plenty of time walking through places like the white and blue Rabat's Udayas Kasbah neighborhood or the dusty trails on the RIF mountains at no cost. 2. Romania. Another cheapest country to visit in Europe is Romania, is truly a hidden gem of Europe. It is a beautiful country with so many cool things to see, but it has very few tourists and it is extremely cheap. A highlight of the country is the Transylvania region, which is home to numerous impressive castles and lots of quaint, charming, colorful villages. You can also visit Romania to explore the wilderness, including the majestic Carpathian Mountains and the beaches bordering the Black Sea. Traveling on a budget through Romania means you'll probably spend only 30 to 40 USD per day, so it's one of the cheapest foreign countries to visit in Europe. 1. Portugal. With good bus, tram, and train connections, it's easy to travel around Portugal without spending much. While Lisbon can be slightly more expensive, eating and entertainment everywhere else in the country is very budget-friendly. Even popular famous beach destinations such as Camilo Beach in the Algarve can be visited on a shoestring if you plan your trip well and don't need to sleep right on the beach. The true high season in Portugal is only 2 months long, June and July, so traveling outside those months will help you find good deals in transportation and accommodation to save even more. Winter is also a great time to visit for amazing discounts, especially if you're heading to cities. With temperatures around 15 degrees Celsius in January, Portugal is never truly cold. Most of Portugal's must-see attractions are in Lisbon and Sintra, where you'll find things like the medieval defensive Belém Tower, the Gothic Jerónimos Monastery, and the public square Praça de Comércio, surrounded by shops and cafes. These are either free to enter or cost very little. Sintra is home to a number of palaces and castles, including the breathtaking hilltop medieval castle of the Moors, that do have entry fees, but skipping the tours and just spending time exploring the grounds is equally stunning and significantly cheaper. In general, a visit to Portugal is more about enjoying the local food, walking along the coastline, and discovering the sights, which will keep your costs low and allow you to see more of the country on a tight budget.